What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Patriots Global. Really, we don't have a name for this, so it's really just, I guess, welcome back to another segment here on Patriots Global. We're going live here today, and we are going to be previewing New England Patriots and Miami Dolphins. We're going to be talking about some important things that I have written down here. So, going to be touching on things, first off, like the injury report. Obviously, this is the closest thing we've had. This is the last injury report we are going to have for Sunday night. So this is the expectation heading into Sunday night. Right now, no players for the Patriots have been listed as doubtful or out. Everybody has just been limited as questionable. So a lot of these guys are probably going to be a game time decision. So we're going to talk on injury report. We're going to talk about wide receiver and cornerback matchups. And then we're also going to break down the Patriots offensive and defensive stats from week one and how they compared to the Miami Dolphins offensive and defensive stats from their week one. I do want to give a massive shout out to all of you guys who were already in the chat before we even started the live stream. So Ray, man, you were like always the first one in the chat, man. You're a big time supporter of me and the channel. Really, really appreciate you, brother. Nicole, you are also in the chat, another big time supporter. Always be seeing you in the comments. I appreciate you for being here. We have a legend, Mr. Automotive, in the chat today. What's going on, man? We got a new subscriber here in Jeffrey. How you doing, buddy? And looks like Ray is hyping up everybody in the chat to hit that like button. So while we're at it, we might as well let you guys know. Make sure while you're here, you do leave a big like on this video and hit that like button because it does support the channel massively. Might not seem like it, but it's not just for looks. It actually does support the channel and go a long way. So make sure on your way and you guys do that for me. And of course, we will also, as I see we were lagging a little bit, we will also be talking about the giveaway. The giveaway is official. We will be giving away a Zeke Elliott jersey to home jersey. So it's going to be that navy blue. And then we're also giving away this signed, as you can see, Christian Gonzalez helmet. It's a real helmet. You can see like it's a helmet. It's not a mini helmet. It's an actual helmet. So we're going to be giving this puppy away. We're going to be breaking that down on how you can enter that giveaway for the Zeke Elliott jersey and the signed Christian Gonzalez helmet. And for those of you saying, Patriots Global, are you really going to give away a signed Christian Gonzalez helmet? Like, nah, dude, you're a bigger Patriots fan than any of us. Like, why would you do that? Guys, let me show you this. This is actually really heavy. So this is a real football helmet that I just made like into a Patriots helmet. As you can see, like this is wearable in a game and everything. I have a lot of different signatures on here that I took to camp the last couple of years. So like Brendan Schooler, Judon, Damian Harris, like all of them have them signing this. So I got my thing. I got my bread and butter. I got what makes me happy. We're going to be giving you guys away something. So stay tuned on how you guys can enter that giveaway. Let me put that back here. But without further ado, let's just kind of hop right into it. So Patriots injury report as of today. It's going to be the final injury report. It's going to be Patriots and Dolphins. We have Devontae Parker. He's dealing with a knee injury. He's limited as a limited participant and is questionable for this game. Trent Brown, he's dealing with a concussion. He is a limited participant. He is questionable. I would assume that he's not going to play. I don't know when he got this concussion, just like City So. I'm not sure when he got this concussion either. It had to be at some point against the Eagles, but I don't remember at any point those players being taken out of the game. So when exactly this concussion would have presented itself, I'm not 100% sure, but apparently it did. So it's very rare that within a week span, players will be back from a concussion. So I don't think that they are going to be playing both Trent Brown and City. So they were limited participants. So they were at practice. You know, they were at least doing something, but it was in a limited capacity. So I don't think that at the end of the day, those guys are going to be playing in this game. Very unfortunate loss to the Patriots. And we'll talk about that later. And then Mike Onwenu and Cole Strange. Onwenu dealing with an ankle injury and Strange dealing with a knee injury. Obviously, both players that didn't play in our season opener against the Philadelphia Eagles, but also both guys that really we didn't get to see the entire of the offseason and training camp and whatnot because both guys were dealing with those injuries. More so Michael Onwenu than Cole Strange. You got to hope you get at least one of those guys back because if you're in a position where you're out Trent Brown, you don't have your backup in City So, you're out your two starting guards, then I think that there is a problem. But in positive news for the New England Patriots, you have David Andrews, who's dealing with a hamstring injury. He was taken off of the injury report. So Maybe that's just a little injury that was lingering around, but it doesn't look like it was too severe, as at this current moment, at the Friday injury report, the last injury report for the week, he is not on it. But Jonathan Jones, unfortunately, check real quick. Yes, Jonathan Jones is still on the Patriots injury report. He did not practice for yet another practice. I believe that is 2 straight practices. Yes, that is 2 straight practices that he is on this injury report. He wasn't on it earlier on in the week, but the last 2 days of practice that we got an injury report for, he has been on it for an ankle injury and has not been at practice. He's not like he was a limited participant. He quite honestly was just not at practice as a did not participate. So that could be a massive, massive, massive loss to the Patriots if they are out. Obviously, the starting unit along their offensive line. First and foremost, I think you'll have David Andrews there. So your starting center, your leader of the offensive line, that's going to be the most important for the Patriots to have. So it's good that they get him there. I thought the guards looked okay for the Patriots last week, but you had City So at right guard. I don't have him playing this game. And then Mafia at left guard, who I would assume that this would be the same thing. If the Patriots are able to get back Mike Onwenu and Cole Strange, I think this truly does boost this offensive line for the Patriots, especially that interior. And I look at the Miami Dolphins. They obviously have Phillips, their star edge rusher, and Bradley Chubb on the other side too. So it's not going to be easy for these tackles, but I think the bulk of the work is going to come in the middle of that defensive line with their defensive tackles with Christian Wilkerson and just company that they have. Even their linebackers who they like to shoot the gap a lot. Those are the biggest concerns for me. So if the Patriots are able to get Mike Onwenu and Cole Strange back, then I'm honestly confident in this offensive line, even if it is without Trent Brown and still question marks over on the right side. So the potential offensive line that you're looking at from left to right, I would probably say is either Vidarian Lowe or Wheatley, which is the guys we haven't seen in this Patriots system yet because they were picked up during roster cutdowns. At left guard, let's say we don't have Mike Onwenu and Cole Strange back. At left guard, you would be rolling with Antonio Mafi, center David Andrews. Right guard would probably be Cody Russi or James Ferentz, both of which are on practice squad, so they would have to be elevated for that, unless the Patriots decide that they want to go with Jake Andrews pinned in at right guard. But I don't know. It will get him some experience, but at the end of the day, he's a center for them. He's going to be the future center. So if David Andrews didn't play, that's where Jake Andrews would pin in. Honestly, I think that this is more of you need a veteran aspect, right? You have so many rookies along this offensive line, so many new pieces. At this point, put in James Ferentz at right guard, get some veteran aspect along that O-line, get some continuity along that offensive line as best as you can with several different pieces along the line missing. And I think that is a good start if the Patriots have several different pieces missing now. And that brings us to the right tackle position. A big question for the Patriots potentially all season long, and it definitely was all off season long. But I would say Calvin Anderson is probably the guy that you look at to get that right tackle spot. I just don't see who gets it above of Calvin Anderson at this point. I think that he's your best option right now. I thought that he played an all right game this past week against the Eagles. I didn't think that he was great, but I also thought it could have been a whole lot worse. So I think that Calvin Anderson is probably going to be your right tackle in this game, but I do think that best case scenario, the offensive line you're looking at is going to be at left side, Vidarian Lowe or Wheatley. Left guard, Cole Strange, center, David Andrews, right guard, Michael Onwenu, and then right tackle, Calvin Anderson. So if that is your unit for this week, I feel okay. I'm not going to necessarily say confident, but I definitely feel okay with this offensive line. If the Patriots were able to get past the Philadelphia Eagles this past week, then I'm confident that they can get past a Miami Dolphins front. And they have a good front in the Miami Dolphins, but the Patriots already went up against the best front seven that they are going to play all season long in week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, Mr. Automotive screaming, let's go. Yes, sir. Also, let me take off this, hit the like button. You guys already know, hit the like button if you haven't already. But I think the big question mark comes up to what are the odds that Cole Strange and Michael Onwenu both play in this game? And I feel confident that at least one of those guys is going to play, right? Because it's one thing if you're not, if you're a did not participate every single week. But the fact that they made strides to play week 1 and then ultimately didn't, they were a game time decision. And now we're heading into week 2. They've practiced all week. We've seen them at practice. They've just been in a red contact jersey, red no contact as limited participants. I feel confident that at least one of those guys has to play. And you don't want to rush those guys back, because if they're not ready, then they're not ready. And you're trying to think longevity with this team other than winning week 2 against the Miami Dolphins, which I think is a very important game for the Patriots to win. But again, you're trying to think longevity rather than, hey, what can this team do for you in just week 1? So that's ultimately the outlook there for the Patriots offensive line. Trent Brown should be back the following week, week 3 against the Jets. I don't see a concussion lingering on that long. Sometimes they do, but for the most part, concussions will keep you out for about a game. Sometimes they can even come back if it's a long week. But in this situation, obviously, him only having about like 6-7 days to get healthy, it just wasn't going to happen. So I think Trent Brown will come back at some point. Same thing with City. So he's dealing with the exact same thing that Trent Brown is. So then we move on to cornerback. And Jonathan Jones is the one that scares me on this list the most, because Jonathan Jones is going to play such a pivotal role. Now, if you ask me, Patriots Global, if you had to pick one, who would you rather have? Would you rather have your offensive line unit together and have them healthy, or would you rather have Jonathan Jones playing this game? I would say the offensive line. I just think the offensive line is going to be more pivotal for the Patriots putting up points in this game. At the end of the day, you do need to limit Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tua Tagovailoa as best as you can. But at the end of the day, you're not shutting them down. That's just near impossible. That's not going to happen. So while you want to limit that offense as much as you can, the important recipe for the Patriots to win this game is to go stride for stride. Yes, you heard that right. Going stride for stride with the Miami Dolphins offense. Force some turnovers, force some 3-and-outs so the Patriots don't literally have to put up points on every single drive they're in. But they got to go as best as they can, drive for drive, and putting up points with the Miami Dolphins if they want to stay in this game. And Jonathan Jones is going to be a massive piece into stopping Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But we're going to get into those matchups here in just a little bit. But next up, I do want to get over on the Miami Dolphins injury side of things. So Julian Hill, their tight end, was a limited participant today with an ankle injury. They really don't have any tight ends. And it seems like in the past, these tight ends from the Miami Dolphins matchups with the Patriots have really been what's dinked and dunked on the Patriots in the past. So obviously, with them not having much depth there at tight end, this could be an area that we look at. Teron Armstead, their offensive tackle, is a limited participant and dealing with multiple different injuries. Like, how this dude is still participating is beyond me. This man should be on IR with all he's dealing with. He has a back, ankle, and knee injury. So something to watch there for the star offensive tackles for the Miami Dolphins. And then just added to the list today. We talked about him before. But Jalen Phillips, the star edge rusher here for the Miami Dolphins, he was listed today for the first time on the injury report, limited participant as he deals with a back injury. Another thing to take away from and keep in mind, as they have some key players here. Armstead and Phillips, arguably the two of the most important pieces to this team, being limited participants and dealing with injuries. We'll see if this prevents them from playing in this game or not. As it's week 2, sometimes teams do take it a little bit more careful, but something to keep in mind. And then Elijah Campbell, their safety, is also dealing with a knee injury. He was a limited participant today. So that is going to be your last injury report for the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins here, week 2 matchup. Now, moving on to, let me see what I have next on my list, is the wide receivers to cornerback matchups, and ultimately what I think that this team is going to do. So I think the Patriots have really 2 options here, and that option is to either go stride for stride, and what I mean for that is you go cornerback 1 to wide receiver 1 and cornerback 2 to wide receiver 2. I don't think that's what they're going to do, though. We've seen in the past, and we've seen in the past with how the Patriots like to guard Tyreek Hill. We saw it in his time with the Chiefs, saw in the AFC Championship game, is what they're going to do instead is, let me not just take away your biggest piece, but how do I take away multiple pieces of your offense? And when you face a team like the Miami Dolphins, you can't just take away their biggest receiver, because you take away their biggest receiver and look it, they already have another wide receiver 1 right behind Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, who is going to light up your defense just as much as Tyreek would. So you have to be able to take both of those guys away or be able to limit both of those guys. I think that's the name of the game. You're not shutting one guy down. you're trying to limit this offense as a unit. So what I think this cornerback to wide receiver matchup is going to look like is you want to put, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. You want to put, if you're the Patriots, your cornerback 2 on their wide receiver 1 with safety help over the top. And then Patriots put their cornerback 1 onto the Miami Dolphins wide receiver 2 and basically just try to shut him down. So in an ideal world, what this would look like is Jonathan Jones takes Jalen Waddle on an island all by himself. And he's going to get some receptions in Jalen Waddle on Jonathan Jones, obviously. But between his speed, between the height, no guy really has a height advantage over the other. And with the veteran that Jonathan Jones is, I feel confident that for the most part, he would be able to limit Jalen Waddle. So then that brings up Tyreek Hill, who put up over 200 yards this past week, 2 touchdowns against the Chargers, where Tua put up 466 yards. What do the Patriots do there? Because the name of the game is going to be, you can't let that happen, right? You can't do what the Chargers did and essentially let Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa beat you. And we're going to get into like the statistics, like I said, between their offense and the defense on both sides. But if you can limit or shut down even the Miami Dolphins passing offense, I'm not confident in their running game. I'm not confident in them to be a multidimensional offense. So I feel confident in the Patriots' ability to therefore win that game. But back to the cornerback wide receiver matchup. So what I think this would ultimately look like at the end of the day is, like I said, Jonathan Jones goes up against a Waddle, and then you would have, it's gonna be a tough ask. And 2 weeks in a row, Christian Gonzalez gets asked to cover the number 1 wide receiver of a team. Against the Eagles, we saw Christian Gonzalez go up against Devontae Smith early on, and then for the rest of the game, he was covering A.J. Brown. I didn't think he did terrible. I think at the end of the day, the Patriots basically said, just don't let a big play happen. It's a big 50-50 ball guy. He's one of the best receivers in the league. He's going to get some catches on you. Be a short tackler and don't let him gain any big plays on you. And that's what Christian Gonzalez did. He didn't let up any big plays. He let up, a decent amount of receptions for sure. I think he let up like 7 receptions for like 60 or 70 some yards to A.J. Brown, which statistically doesn't sound great. He wasn't shut down. But when you're going up against A.J. Brown in your first week with no safety help over the top, what can you expect? I think Christian Gonzalez is just going to have to match speed for speed here, and that's going to be it. I think Christian Gonzalez can, but Christian Gonzalez will also have the height advantage over Tyreek. So, you don't have to worry about Tyreek having any massive jump balls over Christian. As long as Christian has good situational awareness, then he'll be fine in terms of any 50-50 contested catches. And he honestly should come down with the interception if Tua does throw that type of pass to Tyreek over Christian Gonzalez. But I also think that you can't just ask Christian Gonzalez to cover Tyreek one-on-one in an island all of his own. No, you have to give him safety help over the top. So I think that's what's going to happen, is that you get safety help over the top with Christian Gonzalez on Tyreek Hill, and you try to shut him down as much as humanly possible. Now, Tyreek already knows that's what the Patriots are going to try to do. Somebody, I don't know who the reporter was, asked about, the Patriots are going to try to basically shut you down. The Patriots are going to double team you. What are you going to do? And he basically was like, do it. I'm still going to beat y'all, and that's going to be it. So he's very confident, and we have to basically shut him down to the absolute best of our abilities. But the question mark comes up to, he's in the wrong live. I didn't see what happened. I think the question mark comes down to what happens if Jonathan Jones does not play. If Jonathan Jones does not play, it puts the Patriots in a very rough situation because they don't have that veteran speedster on the outside that can shut down that number 2 wide receiver for the Dolphins. And if Christian Gonzalez can't keep up, then I think Christian Gonzalez is asked to go on Waddle, and then they flip John Jones back over to Tyreek, and that gets settled. But if John Jones doesn't play, I think you're at a situation where you either have to get a safety, and a safety has to cover Tyreek now, or you're at a position where Jalen Mills is playing cornerback in this game instead of playing safety. Or they do something that, honestly, I would like to see them do. Maybe it's a hot take, but I would like to see them do if they are not going to have Jonathan Jones in this game, is to ask, and tell me this would not be a fun matchup. You have Marcus Jones going up against Jalen Waddle one-on-one. He has the speed. There's really no height advantage. I think Waddle probably has 2 to 3 inches max on him just because Marcus Jones is like 5'8". But other than that, he can match for the most part height-wise. He can match up speed for speed. And we've seen Marcus Jones in the past have to go up against wide receiver ones and do pretty good. Let's remember against the Raiders, he was asked to cover Devontae Adams and almost shut him down completely. Devontae Adams, sitting at over like 6'2", was almost shut down by a 5'8" cornerback. So I think if Marcus can do that, I believe in Marcus's ability to be able to cover Jalen Waddle. Excuse me. But that's going to be your cornerback to wide receiver matchup. That's ultimately how I see this happening. I think Kyle Duggar will shut down the tight ends that they have, whether that's Julian Hill or whoever they might have. I'm not worried about it. They don't have Mike Gesicki anymore. They don't have a star tight end that we have to worry about. It's all going to come down to shutting down these wide receivers. So that's how it's going to go. I expect the Patriots, honestly, to play a lot more cover 2 in this game. And that's kind of the outlook there in terms of your secondary. But moving on to, let me pull this up. Moving on to the Patriots offensive statistics versus the Dolphins. Patriots versus Dolphins offensive statistics and defensive statistics. Passing wise, the Miami Dolphins are averaging 466 yards per game to the Patriots 306. Rush yards per game. You guys thought the Patriots were booty cheeks this past week in terms of running the ball? The Patriots were better at running the ball than the Miami Dolphins were. Patriots picked up 76 yards on the ground this past week, where the Miami Dolphins were picking up 70. I'm telling you, I don't believe in their ability to run the ball. Mostert is a guy that may or may not be playing in this game. I think that's probably their best running back. Obviously, their rookie in A-Chain, I believe that's how you say his name, is dealing with an injury too. So there's not a lot of options for this team at running back. They're a team that's trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor. They're trying to add a prolific running back to this group to actually solidify it because, again, you see it's 70 yards. The Chargers, if they were able to even be competent, even slightly, even average in terms of pass defense, then I think the Chargers come out with that win. But they weren't. They gave up 466 yards. They couldn't play well against this Miami Dolphins offense, couldn't shut them down in any way, shape, or form, not even a single player. And that's how they won the game. So again, I think that goes back to the point that I was making earlier to where if you can limit this passing offense, that's all you have to worry about because they're not going to run the ball on you and they don't have a tight end that's going to be able to beat you either. Giveaways. The Patriots gave away 2, obviously with the pick 6 and the Zeke Elliott fumble. But the Miami Dolphins also had 2 turnovers this past week as Tua had issues with some snaps from the center, had issues keeping a hold of the ball. It's crazy to me that everybody's hyping up the Chargers as much as they are when they had 2 opportunities to get the ball back from the Miami Dolphins and still didn't win and let up 466 yards. If the Patriots can get 2 turnovers from the Dolphins, and even if they allow 300 yards passing to Tua, but they get 2 takeaways, I'm guaranteed that the Patriots come out with this win. Third down efficiency, it's not as different as you would think. The Patriots' third down efficiency is 33%, the Miami Dolphins 44%, and average points per game, the Miami Dolphins are averaging 36 to the Patriots 20. As you can see, for most statistical categories, 3 out of 5 of them go to the Miami Dolphins. This offense is prolific. Okay, this is, you look at the Patriots and you say, that defense is scary. If you can somehow put points up on their defense, you win the game. It's the exact opposite in terms of the Dolphins, right? Not a good defense. Mac Jones and the Patriots should be able to put points up on the board. They're going to have to go stride for stride, but you can limit that passing offense. You can limit their offense in general, and you should feel confident about winning the game. But like I said, this Miami Dolphins defense, let me tell you, it's not it. And Vic Fangio is a defensive coordinator who I respect the crap out of, and I'm sure at some point he'll get it figured out. But is he going to get it figured out week 2? I don't think so. And I think that this is going to be a massive game for Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott, who barely put up any points last week. In fact, let me tell you exactly how much the Patriots put up. If this loads. The Patriots put up 29 total yards to Ezekiel Elliott, 25 total yards to Ramondre Stevenson, 15 yards to Marcus Jones, to Mac Jones, and 7 yards to Ty Montgomery. The Patriots had an absolutely horrific time running the ball this past week for a total of 76 yards on the ground. The Miami Dolphins, they are averaging 234 yards on the ground. 234 yards on the ground is absolutely crazy, right? They obviously have Austin Eckler, who's one of the best running backs in the National Football League, but we have one of the best 1-2 punches in the National Football League, not to mention a top 10 running back alone in Ramondre Stevenson. I think if the Patriots want to win this game, you keep Tua off the field, and it's clock management. How do you do that? You run the ball. You drain the clock out. You win time of possession. And if the Patriots are able to do that and run the ball efficiently, boys, that's a dub. That's an easy dub right there. I just gave you the recipe for the Patriots to win this game. That is the literal recipe. You run the ball effectively, time management, win time of possession, maybe get a couple of turnovers, and that's how you win this game. By the way, the Patriots defense is only giving up 97 yards on the ground. They played one of the best rushing attacks in the entire National Football League in week 1 in the Philadelphia Eagles. You're telling me between DeAndre Swift and Jalen Hurts and Kenneth Gainwell and the entire committee they have in Philly, they were only able to put up a total of 97 rushing yards on this Patriots defense. And you are going up against a much worse rushing attack in the Miami Dolphins. Again, I don't believe in their ability to run the ball. You know what they're doing, Patriots. You know that they're going to be passing the ball. That's their only effective way at beating you. You know what their game plan is. So figure out how you're going to now game plan against it. This is going to be a game where you're going to see more cornerbacks on the field. You're going to see cornerbacks elevated. I think that this is a game in which Shaun Wade is not a healthy scratch. He's on the 53. He was a healthy scratch last week. I don't think he's a healthy scratch this week. And maybe they even promote a defensive back from the practice squad because that's how important these defensive backs are going to be in this game. As for passing yards, Miami didn't do all that bad. They really didn't. In terms of passing yards, they only are giving up about 199 yards. Let's remember, Mac Jones put up about 316 this past week. The question mark is going to be, is he going to be effective against the Miami Dolphins secondary, who I think their secondary is definitely stronger than their ability at stopping the run. But again, when you're going up against such a prolific passing offense, you're going to have to be able to pass the ball efficiently. So they're giving up 199 yards through the air, as where the Patriots are giving up 154 yards in the air. The Miami Dolphins defense also has gotten 0 takeaways, as where the Patriots got 1. This is another massive statistic. The Miami Dolphins are allowing a 60% third down efficiency, meaning that more than half the time, Miami's defense is letting up on third downs. And I think we saw the Patriots be very effective on third downs against the Eagles, but also they were very not strategic, but they were very aggressive in terms for even going on it on fourth down, something that it wouldn't surprise me to see them do again this week. The fact that more than half the time you're letting that up should go to show that the Patriots should be able to put up points on the board and drive this ball down the field. You don't need massive big plays, right? Like, we don't need the Patriots hitting 40-yard, 50-yard bombs to Devontae Parker. Like, cool, if we can, that's great. Not going to say don't give them to me. And if we are in a moment where it's like a 2-minute drill, down by 5 like it was this past week, and you need to have a touchdown, then yeah, those splash plays are important. But at the end of the day, the name of the game is going to be death by 1,000 cuts, right? Drive down the field, but take up all the time. Those little gains, those little plays is what's going to keep you on the field, dominating time of possession and keeping their offense off of the field. The Patriots, on the other hand, defensively, their third down efficiency is 30%. They are allowing teams that convert on them on third down only 30% of the time. That is cut exactly in half compared to what Miami Dolphins are giving up. And we'll see how efficient the Patriots can be this upcoming week against the Dolphins, who I think have the best offense in the entire National Football League. So I think it'll be a little worse than 30%. But again, you went up against one of the most dynamic offenses in the Philadelphia Eagles this past week and still only allowed a 30% third down efficiency. The Patriots are also allowing 25 points per game, as where the Miami Dolphins defense is allowing 34 points per game. So with what I said, you can see in all 5 statistical categories, all 5 defensive statistical categories, the New England Patriots win, baby. Yes, the New England Patriots are on top. I'm not worried about this Miami Dolphins defense. I think the Patriots have a way better defense. As long as this Patriots offense can not turn the ball over, dominate time of possession, and at least be able to go drive for drive in terms of putting up points with Miami, then I'm very confident in their ability to put up points on the board. But it's definitely going to come down to which players on the Patriots actually play and how many players on the Dolphins actually play versus who doesn't, right? So that's going to be the name of the game for me. And that's basically what I had to break down this game for you guys right now. So we are going to be hopping into a Q&A, guys. So please start dropping some of the questions that you guys have, or maybe some statements or anything that you guys have. Of course, we're going to be bringing some of these up on the screen and going to be answering them. As I see, we were lagging a little bit. But before we do that, of course, guys, you know that we got some merch. We got some merch, baby. We got some merch. So let's just take a quick 20 seconds or so and just hear about that merch. Before we do hop in today's video, though, I do want to give you guys a little update that your boy has decided to update his merch. We do still have all of the old stuff along with some really good new ideas that I've been working on for the past couple weeks, and more ideas will be continue to be added. Like always, if you do buy merch, send me a picture of you rocking it. I will include you in the next video. Like always, link in the description box below. And real quick, guys, let's talk. Let's talk about the giveaway, why don't we? Before we hop into your questions, let's talk about the giveaway because, my friends, I said earlier, and I'll say it again, I'll show you the helmet too, actually. I'll do you guys one better. You see it. You see it right here, guys. You see it right here. That's how you know it's true. This isn't fake. We are giving away a signed Christian Gonzalez helmet. This is an authentic signed helmet by the Patriots rookie first-round pick, and it is going to be going to one of you guys. Now, if you guys want to join or, be put into the contest, we're going to be picking it out in about, a couple weeks or so. You guys have to download the Mojo Fantasy app. In fact, you know what? Let me drop that to you guys real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. I just realized you guys caught me slacking. I'll give you that one. Let me drop the link for you guys for anybody who wants to enter this giveaway. There will also be a QR code on the screen here in just shortly when I talk about Mojo. You guys can also here we go. All right, let me drop it here in the chat for you guys. And let me know if you guys also get this and make sure it comes through on your end. So I just dropped it for you guys. It is going to be that link right there. If you guys download the Mojo Fantasy app right now, click that link and it will literally take you right there. If you guys download that app and use my promo code GLOBAL, see it right here on the screen, GLOBAL. Use that code to join. That promo code will give you guys a 100% deposit match up to $100 with a $10 deposit minimum. So you guys are technically getting a 2-for-1 deal. If you guys go ahead and download the Mojo app using that promo code GLOBAL, you deposit at least $10. You can do more or not, but deposit at least $10. Send me a screenshot. You guys can email it to me. My email's in the link, or not link, but it's in the description box below, patriotsglobal498@gmail.com. Or You guys can even post it on Twitter and tag my Twitter at Patriots Global and the number 2. And just give me a screenshot that you guys did that, and you will be entered for the giveaway. Only one person per giveaway. So you can only have one entry. But the really cool thing is you can kind of maneuver through that, right? So if you tell your friends or you tell your family about it and be like, hey, there's a giveaway, can you enter it for me? You can actually get multiple entries. We're going to be picking somebody from a bucket at random, and you could get more entries in that bucket if you tell your friends and you tell your family to go ahead and do it for you guys. This is super, super, super simple. We're going to be giving away that signed Christian Gonzalez helmet and a Zeke Elliott home jersey, so that navy blue jersey for the Patriots. But we also have to let you guys know that the channel is, of course, sponsored by Mojo. So you guys can hit that link, or you guys can actually right here, scan that QR code with your phone right now. Go to the camera, just tap it, and that link will pop up right there for you to download that Mojo Fantasy app. Enter you in the contest for the giveaway. But also, like I said, you will get a 100% deposit match. So if you put in that $10 minimum, that will turn into $20. You put in $50, that's $100. You put in $100, that's $200. So not only are you being entered in the giveaway, but you're also getting double the money you put in to make some money with Mojo. So it's really a 2-for-1 deal. I absolutely love the Mojo Fantasy app. It's a crazy new app that turns sportsbook odds and selections into fantasy contests. Basically, there's thousands of NFL and MLB player props, and you guys build a portfolio. And the better that your portfolio performs, the more cash that you guys are going to be winning. You guys can pick as many props as you want, and you try to beat the crowd. That's the best part about Mojo, is that you guys are betting against real people and not against like some computer CPU that, a lot of other sportsbook use that, let's be honest, it makes you feel a little bit cheated. It's a whole new way to play fantasy. The props act like stocks, and you can buy or sell them live all game long. It's the only fantasy app that lets you make moves after the game starts, so you're not stuck with a bad pick. This is something that I actually did this past Thursday with the not the Patriots, but the Eagles and the Vikings, and I was doing really well and my bets were hitting, and I should have cashed out right there because I saw that money, that $20 right in my hand. But I was like, nah, we want more. And I let it go, and then I lost my money. That's the great thing about Mojo, is you don't have to see it in your eyes, but then have to let it play through. If you see it, you can grab it right then and there. That's the best part about them. You guys can make moves after the game starts, so you're not stuck with a bad pick, or you can cash in on a hot start, or even just hang out with your picks and let them ride. That's it. Make moves, make picks, make money. Download on the Apple Store now using my promo code GLOBAL for a 100% deposit match up to $100. But let's get into that Q&A. Does the app have Android? If you scan it and it doesn't take you to like the Android app store, I would say no. But like I said, guys, if your state doesn't allow you to use the Mojo app, or you want multiple like entries in this contest for the giveaway, whether it's Zeke jersey or the signed Christian Gonzalez helmet, then literally tell your friends, tell your family members about it. And you guys can either get one entry because of, they're an illegal, or not illegal state, but a state that accepts Mojo, or you guys can get multiple entries because, you asked your uncle and your aunt to do, so like if you do it and your uncle does it and your aunt does it and your cousin does it for you, like that's 4 entries for you right then and there. How about that? S27, I think you start off with a pretty good question here. Do you think Ramondre Stevenson can get over 100 yards this weekend? And do I think the Patriots will need 30 points this weekend? So let's answer the first one. Do I think Ramondre Stevenson can get over 100 yards this weekend? I think he can. And you look at how the Patriots utilized him this past week. They gave him more attempts than they gave Zeke Elliott, although it didn't necessarily feel like it. They gave Ramondre Stevenson 12 attempts versus Zeke Elliott 7 attempts. But let's also remember that Ramondre Stevenson was dealing with an illness. It was questions on if he was even going to play against the Eagles because he was dealing with a stomach bug late in the week. So I'm sure first and foremost, just because of that alone, they probably did limit him in some type of capacity. So I would expect that this week they would not have Ramondre limited, and he'll give more attempts and he'll just be more explosive. Also, you're not going up against as an explosive and lethal front seven that not the Miami Dolphins, but the Philadelphia Eagles have. So I think the Patriots in general will have more success on screens and running the ball. So it's always tough because we haven't seen enough this season in terms of the usage between Zeke Elliott and Ramondre Stevenson to really be able to say what they're going to do. But I think they have to run the ball more. I think they're going to run the ball a lot more this week. The game plan calls for it. And I think your lead back is still Ramondre. So I'm going to say that Ramondre Stevenson gets in the end zone this weekend and puts up at least 100 yards. And I think Zeke Elliott puts up a pretty good rushing game also. As for, do I think the Patriots will have to score 30 or more points in order for this team to be successful? No, I really don't. I think if you let the Miami Dolphins score 30 or more points on you, we lost the game. I think we lost the game. I really don't think that the Patriots offense right now, especially if they have offensive line questions, is going to be poised enough to put up 30 or more points. I just don't see that happening right now. So again, I think if the Patriots have to do that, then we just don't win. But at the end of the day, I think the defense will be good enough to where they don't have to do that. The Dolphins put up, 35 points? I believe it was 36 points. Yeah, they put up 36 points. The Patriots defense is a lot better than the Chargers. So with that being said, I don't think that the Patriots are going to. Sorry, I was reading something when I was doing that. I don't think that the Patriots defense is going to have as much problems as the Chargers defense did because they're a much better defense. The Dolphins are not going to put up as many points as they did this past week. In my prediction that I did earlier with Master at Work on the AFC East Roundtable, we did predictions, and I said that I have this being a close game. There's a hurricane watch in Boston throughout the weekend, so there's some question marks with what's even going to happen with the game. But I said even because of that, I think that this score is going to come down to the wire. I have the Patriots winning by a field goal, and I have the score ending with 21-24 Patriots. So that was a good question. Let's answer some more. The hurricane will only hit the Cape. Foxborough will be fine. Hey, then, should be fine. I was actually going to go to this game tomorrow, but because of everything going on with the hurricane, I was going to have to drive 7 hours. And I was like, I really don't want to get there and then, hit bad hurricane weather or get there and they're like, oh yeah, the game's canceled. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I traveled this long for no reason. But keep dropping your questions, guys. This is the Q&A portion of the live stream. Adrian says, I think the game is going to be won in the trenches because if the Patriots can run and limit Tua and Tyreek's time on the field, and if they can get pressure quickly, the deep ball can be canceled out. I think you put up a great point too, right? You would think that the Chargers pass rush would be a lot better. I think they have good players in the interior. They got some decent linebackers. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack alone should make up the best pass rush duo in the National Football League. And it just has not gone that way. I think you look at the issues with the Chargers, and I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but I think you look at the issues with the Chargers and you say that offense is good, but the coaches are bringing them down. But the biggest problem is their defense, right? They got to fire that defensive coordinator because it seems like every time they have a lead, it gets blown because their defense can't keep up, or they lose because the offense always has to go stride for stride with the opposing offense because the defense always gives up points. So I feel for you if you're a Chargers fan. I truly do. But like you said, the name of the game is to get pressure on Tua, right? Tua can escape the pocket, but I think we've seen so far from the Patriots throughout the preseason and even Jalen Hurts week 1 is that the Patriots are very, very good at containing the edge and stopping mobile quarterbacks, something that for so long they were not able to do. For so long they couldn't do. But I think they have so many bodies along this defensive line that are so versatile to playing outside linebacker, to interior of the defensive line, to edge rusher, that they've been able to contain these quarterbacks a lot better. So I do think that, hey, get pressure on Tua quick, sack him several times, maybe put so much pressure on that it forced him to make a couple turnovers, whether that's a lost fumble, whether that's an interception. And the Patriots should be good at winning this game. But at the end of the day, you have to remember is that a defensive back can only cover for so long, right? They're basically trying to mirror what the wide receiver is doing. So the wide receiver, it's really all on the wide receiver. The wide receiver is basically just trying to get open. So it's a lot easier if he has more time to be able to get open at some point, right? Like if Tua's just sitting back there, not getting pressured, and is basically just waiting for somebody to get open between Tyreek and Waddle, at some point somebody's going to get open and it's going to be for a big gain. Not to mention the fact that for those big plays, you do need certain mechanics, and those mechanics are going to be messed up if you only have a second to throw the ball. So I think you hit on a great point, is the fact that the Patriots are going to have to get relentless pressure all game long. Keep asking your question, guys. Ashton, we talked about this earlier on. If you want to rewind, you might not have been here. We talked about my cornerback wide receiver matchups and how I believe this is all going to go down. So I broke that down heavily, but basically, like just to sum it up, what I think is Gonzo is going to be on Hill with safety help over the top. And then you have Jonathan Jones on Waddle, or Marcus Jones on Waddle, depending if Jonathan Jones is healthy or not to play this game, in order to really just cancel out Waddle completely for the most part. Let's see. What else you guys saying? How do I think that the Patriots tight ends will do against Miami linebackers? I think that the Patriots will be efficient. You know, Hunter Henry, I don't really, I'm not talking about fantasy right now. And not that this matters to my argument, but it kind of blew my mind when I saw Hunter Henry right now, believe it or not, is the number one tight end in fantasy through 1 week. It's kind of crazy, right? Like if you told me Hunter Henry would have been the number one tight end through, the first week of football, I'd been like, nah, dude, you're gassing it. But I think that they'll do good. I think between Gesicki, I think between Hunter Henry, these Patriots tight ends will do good. I don't think that the Miami Dolphins have the type of linebackers that can actually cover these tight ends for the Patriots, especially Mike Gesicki. Now, hey, maybe they know how to go up against Mike Gesicki because he's a former Dolphin, and maybe that helps them out a little bit in terms of him. But I think between the 1-2 punch of Gesicki and Henry, the Dolphins are not going to be able to shut down these tight ends for New England. I feel like their linebackers are a little bit more shoot the gap, get pressure, stop the run, those big body guys, kind of like the Patriots. So I think best case scenario, if they really want to cancel out the Patriots tight ends, they have to get some safeties playing hybrid linebacker and play them closer to the line of scrimmage. But that means that you have nobody in the backfield covering deep. So if the Patriots can get these tight ends going, if Devontae Parker can get back playing in this game, then I feel very, very confident, because again, in order to cover these Patriots tight ends, you're going to have to get these safeties coming in, playing closer to the line, playing some hybrid linebacker, which means you can't have as many guys playing deep and covering the deep section of the field, which means Devontae Parker, those 50-50 balls, we can see some big splash plays from him. The Patriots average 3 turnovers a game. No, they averaged 2. Yeah, the Patriots had 2. They only had 1 fumble and the pick 6, which wasn't Mac Jones' fault. But yeah, last week the Patriots had 2 turnovers. The Zeke Elliott fumble, which was on the second drive of the second offensive drive of the game, and then Mac Jones, that pick 6, the first drive. Ray brings up an excellent point, guys. Have you checked out the Discord? If not, go ahead and join our Discord. We have over 100 members in our Discord. It's 100% free. You just click the link and join. It's a great time. It's an absolute great time. In fact, real quick, let me put the link of our Discord in the... Not charging. Why's my iPad not charging? But let me put the link of our Discord in the chat for anybody that would like to join, if it lets me. Really? This is not going as planned. But yes, massive shout out to Ray for that. We will get that Discord link in the comment section here. Do I think that the Patriots can win this game? I do. And I actually think that this is a very important game for the Patriots to win, just because if you look at teams who started the season 0-2, there's only been one time that a team starting 0-2 actually made the playoffs, and that was last year. That was the Cincinnati Bengals. They started 0-2, still made the playoffs, obviously making the AFC Championship game. And if you're going to tell me that the Patriots could go toe-to-toe with the roster that the Cincinnati Bengals have, you're crazy. So I think if the Patriots don't win this game, it's not like they can't make the playoffs, but it's only been done once out of like 7 or 8 times that team started 0-2. So I think the odds are pretty against them if they don't win this games in terms of making the postseason, which it's crazy to talk about that because we're only 2 weeks into the season, but it's a true statistic. So Ray said, did the Discord link show? Yes, I just copied that. I'm going to drop that in the chat here for you guys, if it lets me. Yes, let me drop that here for you. All right, guys, I just dropped the Discord link if you are interested in joining. Can I pin it? Yes. So if you guys do want to join our Discord, I just pinned that in the chat box below. So come and join us. It's 100% free. You just tap it. If you're not signed up for Discord, you just make an account, and it's basically just a big group chat with all of us. So yeah, that's essentially how I think. But even to hit upon this a little bit more, even not just, being 0-2, but also these are just very important games for the Patriots to win. I think that the Patriots will beat the Jets twice now, knock on wood, now that Zach Wilson is their quarterback, because the Patriots are undefeated. They're 4-0 against Zach Wilson. He just doesn't know how to play football in the Patriots. So I think that fares well for the Patriots in terms of making the postseason, because that's another team that's obviously not going to make the postseason. And the Jets, which gives the Patriots one more in to potentially be able to do so. But this week is also very important, not in terms of just the AFC East and those rankings, because outside of the Jets now, this is absolutely wide open between the Patriots, between the Bills, between the Dolphins. I think it's a wide range on who's going to finish between 1, 2, and 3, because yes, I have the Jets pinned in as the 4th spot, and I'm not sorry about it at all. But even with the AFC, because seeding is going to be very important, I think that there's a lot of really great teams that could make the postseason this year. I think that the Steelers are a team that get hot as the season progresses, and they almost did last year. So they could be a team that potentially makes the postseason. The Ravens got better. The Bengals, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Patriots, potentially the Chargers, right? Like there's not enough teams to be able to do this. Maybe the Broncos get in. I'm not confident in saying that yet. But if they can get hot, that's always a team to watch too. So it's going to be important for the Patriots to win these AFC matchups, but especially these in-division matchups, as that'll rank them higher in terms of seeding. Make sure you guys do scan the QR code on the screen too while you guys are at it. Download the Mojo Fantasy app for a 100% deposit match up to $100. $10 deposit minimum is required. And you guys can enter a giveaway for a signed Christian Gonzalez helmet and a Zeke Elliott home jersey if you guys do sign up with Mojo and do that, and send me a screenshot of it. So what do you think it's going to take for us to come out with this win? I know the defense is going to try to hold Hill down, but what else do we have to do? It's kind of just a mix of everything we've talked about, right? Like you have to get relentless pressure all game long, because I think that's going to affect Tua's ability to throw the ball deep. But the Patriots, it's going to start with them on offense. They have to go drive for drive in terms of scoring with the Miami Dolphins offense. But you also, if you're the Patriots, want to run the ball efficiently. The Miami Dolphins gave up over 200 yards on the ground last week against the Chargers. If the Patriots can do that, and you don't necessarily even have to ask Mac Jones to fling the ball the entire game, but this is more of a pass or more of a run the ball game, I think that that's actually a great recipe to win this game, because you can run the clock down, you can win time management. As long as the Patriots don't turn over the ball in this game, then that's an easy win, because you're putting up points on the board, death by 1,000 cuts, winning time of possession, and you're keeping Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle off of the field. and that is a recipe to win. Adrian with a great question. Does Kayshon Boutte get his playing time cut with his performance last week, and especially if Parker returns? So if Parker returns, yes. So the thing about Kayshon Boutte, so Kayshon Boutte played more snaps than Juju Smith-Schuster. He played more snaps than Demario Douglas. He was targeted 4 times with 0 receptions for 0 yards. I thought that Boutte looked good last week. I thought that he was getting open against a very good defense of the Eagles, but he had a very, very bad situational awareness from where he was on the field. And because of that, it was limiting the production that he ultimately put up. And of course, 2 out of those 4 targets for him were 1 on 3rd down, which forced the Patriots to have to punt the ball because he couldn't keep his feet in bounds. And then on 4th down to win the game. Patriots lose the game because he can't keep his feet in bounds on one of Mac Jones' best passes of that game. I think he does get limited. One, because I feel like that showed he's still not ready. I feel like his ability to get open showed that he has a role on this team, but until he can get situational awareness down, he can learn the NFL rules compared to the college rules. You know, he doesn't necessarily have a true role. I think, unfortunately, the Patriots not having Devontae Parker, they had to ask themselves who's going to be the X receiver for their team. And that wasn't going to be Kendrick Bourne. Obviously, you weren't going to use a tight end. I really thought they could use Gesicki as that X receiver when Parker was out, but they didn't do that this time. They gave that role to Kayshon Boutte. And he's the guy that in the first game was asked to be an X receiver when that's truly not what he was. So definitely when Parker comes back, he becomes more limited. But I don't think Kayshon Boutte deserves more playing time right now than Demario Douglas does. So I would expect that playing time for him to 100% go down. Gerard, my friend, how are you? Big supporter of the channel. Gerard, I don't know where you're from, but you might be interested in this new deal we're running specifically with Mojo. It's like a fantasy betting app, and I know you're a big betting fan. So if you scan the QR code right here, it'll take you to the Mojo Fantasy app. You download that. If you deposit at least $10 and use the promo code GLOBAL, it will double your initial deposit up to $100. So if you do like 50, it's 100. If you do 100, it's 200. And then also, if you send me a screenshot of you depositing at least $10 and using promo code GLOBAL, you'll be entered for a giveaway for a signed Christian Gonzalez helmet and a home Zeke Elliott jersey. How much yards is Tyreek getting? Ooh, how much yards does Tyreek get? We're getting into some like betting odds here. All right. How much? You guys take the over or under for Tyreek? That depends. Is Jonathan Jones playing or no? I think that Tyreek comes down with, I'm going to say around 70 to 80 yards max. I think that's where he's going to pick it up. They don't allow in Louisiana, man. I know it stinks. They're trying to get verified in all of these states right now, so some aren't available yet. I honestly want to see them give the ball to Pop Douglas more. He made plays. I thought Pop Douglas looked really good. He had that one big play down the sidelines that I thought was really good for a rookie. He got open a lot, even when he was dealing with, some questionable injuries heading into that Philly game. He finished the day 2 for 7 targets. The fact that we had question marks on what was that connection with Mac Jones. In that first real game we got to see with him in this offense, he was targeted 7 times by Mac Jones. That was tied for second most in the game. First most that was targeted was Kendrick Bourne with 11. But then you have Demario Douglas, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Ezekiel Elliott all tied for second with 7 targets. But Douglas finished with 7 targets with 4 receptions for 40 total yards, averaging 10 yards per reception. I thought he looked great. I think, he's a rookie, right? So they don't really like to give rookies a whole lot of playing time early on. But I think as weeks progress, as long as he can show that he deserves more time, he will get more time. And I'm really excited for what Pop Douglas is showing us because, man, oh man, can he play in all phases of the field and is a go-to guy already for Mac Jones. Like this is exciting. This is exciting. I'm hoping to see him more this week. I think this is a good week for him. Cal says, what are we going to do about our offensive line? So this is something I also touched upon earlier on. I would go back to like the beginning of the stream in which I broke down all of the Patriots offensive line possible scenarios, broke down the injury report and all of that. So I would go back and check that out. But in terms of what is the O-line going to look like, I'm trying to find my best way to break this down without giving you the entire like reanalysis. What the heck is this? That's concerning. So I think that the Patriots offensive line, if it's healthy, is going to be Vidarian Lowe or Tyrone Wheatley, then Cole Strange, David Andrews, Michael Onwenu, and Calvin Anderson. If it's not healthy, I think the Patriots have to go with Vidarian Lowe or Tyrone Wheatley at left tackle. At left guard, you're going Antonio Mafi. At center, David Andrews, because David Andrews was removed from the injury report, so I do believe he plays in this game. Right guard would have to be a guy that you promote from the practice squad. So I don't think Jake Andrews should get the spot at right guard. He's a center. I just don't think that they should place him there, especially as a rookie. I think that the best idea is to build continuity as best as you can with all of the injuries, and that is by elevating James Ferentz, have him play right guard for you, and then at right tackle, Calvin Anderson. So a lot of questions and maneuvering, but nobody has been out of this game. Everybody's a limited participant and is questionable. So this is going to come down to game time decisions. But guys, I really appreciate each and every single one of you for being here today. Like always, we talked about the giveaway in today's stream. So if you want to enter the giveaway for the signed Christian Gonzalez helmet, or if you want to enter for the Zeke Elliott home jersey, make sure you guys rewind the video and check about how you can enter that giveaway. Earlier on in the video, we touched upon three big things before we got into the Q&A. We touched upon the Patriots injury report. We touched on wide receiver to cornerback matchups for this game. And then we touched upon breaking down the Patriots offensive and defensive stats so far throughout the season, and then the Miami Dolphins offensive and defensive stats throughout the season. I really appreciate every single one of you for being here. We got new content dropping here for you guys shortly this week. Don't forget too that on Sunday, immediately after the game against the Miami Dolphins, we are going to be going live on Bleacher Report to recap for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then we are going to be doing an in-depth recap here on YouTube for about an hour or so with Rob from Patriots 7 on Instagram / the House Call Sports or House Call Podcast. So make sure you guys go ahead and check us out then. But other than that, have content that dropped for you guys. And I appreciate you guys for being here as always. And I will see you guys then. Go Pats.